Hi, I'm Julie Belfield. I'm a member of Epiphany Lutheran Church in Swanee, Georgia, cooking in their kitchen. Last year I did some Guatemalan food, prepared some food for the 2020 gala for the Milagro Women's Center in Guatemala. This year I'm going to be preparing some Guatemalan appetizers that I hope you'll enjoy for the 2021 gala. Now last year I used this Guatemalan book. It's really terrific, Amalia's Guatemalan Kitchen by Amalia Moreno Damgard. I'm going to be using this again. I'm just going to be taking some of her recipes and putting a little spin on it and making it into appetizer form. So the first one we're going to do is a tostada. Now everybody loves tacos and tostadas, and Guatemalans love their tostadas. So we're going to do a tostada with two different toppings. We're going to do a guacamole and black bean. Now I purchased these tostadas shells already. You can make your own. You can fry corn tortillas, or you can bake them in the oven. You just need to be a little careful with that one. But we're going to do the toppings, and I'm going to show you how this is done. So let's get started with the guacamole, everybody's favorite. So what I've done is I've halved 3 avocados. I'm going to take the avocado out. This is a simple guacamole, but I assure you it's going to be really delicious. So I've got 3. I'm removing that from the avocado. And it's a simple one because it's only going to have a couple, 3 ingredients added in. So got this. Now Amalia suggests we keep this kind of in chunky form, which I'm all for. I prefer that as well. So I've got the avocado. I'm going to take a fork. You can take 2 forks, and I'm going to just chop that up. Mash it as I go just a little bit. You can make it smooth if you prefer that way, but I'm going to make mine a little chunky as Amalia suggests. The beauty of this as an appetizer is you can set it up where everybody can make their own and add different toppings, or you can make them right before your guests get there and everybody is going to have something really great. So I've mashed this up, the avocado. These tortilla tostada shells were just warmed slightly in the oven. I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of lime juice. It's really important that it's fresh lime juice. And the other important ingredient is going to be salt, because avocado without salt is a little bit on the bland side. So we want that to taste good. And that's going to be the taste, so you can stop and taste it as you like it. Just give that a stir in there, that salt. You can add a little bit of pepper if you like. You can also add a little bit of oregano if you prefer. So I've just got a little bit. I'm going to add just a touch of oregano. And that's going to be it for the guacamole. Looks really pretty. Now if you're making this in advance and you want to keep it from turning brown, you know you must put saran wrap right on top of it, because you do really need to keep the air off of it. So now let's take the tostada, and we're going to start with the guacamole. Spread that. That looks really good. You can actually just use this with tortilla chips if you can't find the tostada chips. And then we're also going to have a black bean. Now what I've done is I've taken, you can do fresh black or dried black beans and cook them, or you can do canned black beans, which is actually what I did. So I took canned black beans, and then I cooked some onions and some red pepper, added in a little bit of crushed tomatoes. And I just cooked that down, and then I took an immersion blender and made that into a nice creamy puree. So I'm going to tell you, this tastes really good. You can make it spicy if you prefer, or you can just keep it on the mild side. But let's go ahead and spread another tostada with the black bean spread. This would also be great thinned out as a soup, or eaten with rice, or as a filling for a taco. So let's do another guacamole. And I think kids would really love these. And then one more with the black beans. And I think this looks pretty good as is, but Amalia's like, nope, we need to build this up a little bit. So what we're going to do is add some queso fresco cheese or any kind of Mexican or South American cheese. Guatemala has their own cheeses as well. I wasn't able to find that, but we'll add some of that on each of these. The cheese. You can, put your own spin on this for sure. I'm just doing it the way she suggests. There we are with our cheese. Should get a good picture of this. I'm going to move this right out in front. And then we're going to add some sliced onion. You can use red onion if you prefer, or white onion, or no onion at all. Let's get that on there. And then you could add parsley, or you can add cilantro, whichever is your favorite. I think a little diced tomato would be nice on this too, and pretty. But look how pretty that's already looking. So how simple is that as an appetizer or a light dinner, and certainly appropriate for the gala. So there you go, tostadas. Everybody's going to eat them, so go ahead and make them. The next dish we're going to prepare is going to be a ceviche. Don't get upset. I know people are funny about ceviche sometimes because it starts with raw seafood. This one cooks for just a minute before you put it into the acid. So it's going to be partially cooked, if that helps you out a little bit. But ceviche is delicious. Seafood is really something common in Guatemala along the ocean. And it's this really delicious and vibrant. You can serve this in one bowl, or you can put it in individual servings for your appetizer party. So I'm going to start with the sauce for this. It's a lime orange sauce, and it's really terrific. I tried this already. So in the food processor, this will make your work easy for you. We want to put about a tablespoon of chopped onion in there. And then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of lime juice, your acid, a tablespoon of orange juice, which is nice, and a fair amount of cilantro. You can use the stems for this. The stems really have a lot of flavor. Don't throw those away. Now for chilies, Amalia suggests a Thai chili. I couldn't find one. I have a Serrano chili. Depending on how spicy you want it, you kind of want to know your chili. I'm going to throw this whole thing in there. So we'll see what we have. But you put that in the food processor, and then we're going to just give it a whirl. Let's hope this works. There we go. Just for a second or two. I just pulsed it. So the sauce is done. Now for the seafood. It's going to be a scallop and shrimp ceviche. So what I bought some sea scallops. Now this will only serve a couple of people, so you'll want to really add more if you have a crowd. I got some sea scallops. You can use bay scallops. I personally prefer sea scallops. So I got those and I cut them in half, and I poached them in salted water for only about 1 minute. So they're not really done all the way through. The lime and the orange juice is going to finish that out for you. But I've got about 1/3 of a cup or so of halved sea scallops. I'm going to put that in a bowl. And then I had some really nice Georgia shrimp that I found. Don't use pre-cooked shrimp. Just don't do it. If you add it, it's pre-cooked, and if you add it into the acid, it's just going to get mushy. So go with fresh shrimp whenever you can find it. Medium size would be great. These were large, so I'm going to cut them in half. And I just got maybe about, I don't know, I'm going to say these are 10 or 12. I like shrimp a lot, so I don't mind having extra. So I'm going to just cut those in half. I peeled and deveined. I peeled and deveined the shrimp. You don't want to leave that vein in the shrimp. That's just not a good, it's not a good thing to taste. So I've cut those in half. All right, now that I've done that, I'm going to take the sauce that I made. I'm having trouble getting it off. There we go. And I'm just going to mix that into the shrimp and scallops. Looks pretty good. You want to add a little salt at this point. And I see part of that pepper did not dice, and I'm not going to add it in. But a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And then here's the next thing, is some fresh tomatoes. So these are just fine ripe tomatoes. Let's just add that in. And take my spoon and stir this around. I mean, that looks pretty good right there. It's basically a seafood salad. It's going to need a little while to marinate. Not very long. Seafood, like I said, this is partially cooked, and seafood just does not take very long. So I'm going to leave this in the fridge probably 30 minutes to 2 hours. No longer than that, it should be fine. All right, so that's the second appetizer. I think you'll really enjoy this one. Whenever I do an appetizer party, I like to have something fresh and something sweet. And what fits the bill better than fruit? So we're going to make some fruit kebabs, and then there'll be just a little bit of a dressing on top of these. So what I have, because it's summer and fruit is really good right now, as are vegetables, I have some pineapple, some papaya, some mango. Now in Guatemala they may use green mango. I couldn't find any, but regular mango is fine. And then I have cherry tomatoes, and I also have some cucumber. I've cut these into chunks, and we're going to build some skewers, and then I'm going to show you what happens after that. So you can take any combination you like. I'm going to get a mango first, and I'm going to add a pineapple, just because I love pineapple. And then actually I'm going to add a cucumber. And it may sound strange to some of you to put vegetables with fruit, but you know, it's still got the same kind of sweetness and same kind of just freshness. So we're going to build that one that way. And then I'm going to start with the cucumber this time. And I'm going to put cherry tomato on there because we like that combination. And you know what? I'm going to do another mango. So here we go with the third one. I haven't used papaya yet, and I don't know if you've eaten papaya much. It's kind of melony, I guess, in the way that it cuts and the texture of it. I'm going in with the pineapple again, and I'm going to end with the mango. But of course you could use any combination of fruits that you like. You don't have to use these. You can use something else. Let's do cucumber again. And I'm going to add papaya. It's kind of fun to mix these up and just see how the taste difference is. So we're going with that. I think we need to do a tomato again. We haven't done that but once. So tomato. Let's do pineapple. And let's do a papaya. And then I'm going to make one more. But these are fun to do, and you can make them ahead and put them in the refrigerator. So, I mean, how easy can that be? So, in preparation for a party. The worst part of a party, I think everybody feels, is preparing and getting everything out at the right time. So this one is a no-brainer. All right, we can make more for a party, but right now I want to show you what I'm going to do with these. And by the way, I got these little skewers. You can order these things online. You can find all kinds of shapes and colors. But you can also use just a regular wooden skewer if that's what you have at the grocery store. You can find those. So we're going to brush those with some fresh lime juice. And once again, make sure your citrus is always fresh. That just makes such a difference in how things taste. So brush that with a little lime juice. And then we're going to take, actually going to take some salt. Sprinkle that on there. You know, people eat salt with melons, so why not salt with this fruit as well? I'm using some kosher salt. You could use a smoked salt if you wanted to, or a sea salt if you wanted that. And then a little bit of chili powder. Now, I couldn't find a Guatemalan or even South American chili powder, so I'm just using a smoked chili powder that I found at the regular grocery store. Adding that on there. This one's going to be a little bit of heat in this one, but you can just use a regular chili powder, whatever you have in your cupboard. And then I have some ground pumpkin seeds or pepitas. These have been roasted, and I put them in the small food processor, and I ground these, and I'm going to sprinkle those on top. So what started out looking like, you know, just some fruit chunks is really interesting now. And this is going to be refreshing, and this will be great. Just put it on a platter, take it out your refrigerator, and let people help themselves. You know, when I do an appetizer party, I always like to have something that's on bread, a sandwich or a slider or something like that. And today we're going to be doing a Guatemalan slider. Now, Amalia had these originally as regular size burgers, but I'm going to downsize them a bit and make them into sliders. Have a Guatemalan flair to them. Part of that Guatemalan flair is going to be a spicy ketchup. So what I have here is 3/4 cup of ketchup. I'm going to add in a couple of teaspoons of lime juice. And here's where you can make it your own. Thai chilies, bird's eye chilies, jalapenos, or serranos, whatever you can find. Finely chopped, just add some of that in. This is what makes it a spicy ketchup. You could also add a hot sauce of your choice if you didn't have the peppers. I'm going to add some black pepper as well. I'm going to turn it up a little bit with that. And we're just going to park that and let that sit. I think I'm going to add just a little bit more of these chilies. All right, so we're going to put that aside. And now go straight to the burgers. Amalia suggests a bison burger because to her that tastes more like the burgers she grew up with, grass-fed. I didn't get bison. I did see bison, but what I got was a grass-fed burger. I think probably more accessible for most of you. So if you can find a grass-fed burger or ground beef, that would be the way to go. This is 1 pound, and to that 1 pound, I'm going to add about 3/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, a little hit of black pepper, and 1 egg that's been beaten. And after that, we're going to add some interesting things. Some diced Roma tomato, pretty finely diced. Some finely diced onion, whichever type. This happens to be Vidalia onions because that's what I love and that's what's here in Georgia. And then I've got some celery, which is an interesting component. Probably about a 1/2 cup, 1/3 cup to a 1/2 cup. I like the white parts of the celery, so that's what I'm using. And then as a binder, we're going to use crushed cornflakes. If you don't have cornflakes and you just have breadcrumbs, that's perfectly fine as well. Just something, a couple of tablespoons, something that's going to bind this together. And then I'm going to get in here with my hands and form this into slider-sized burgers. I find these are great because they're perfect size for kids, but for a party you can still hold them. There are a few bites. We're going to top these with a lot of things though, so it might still take 2 hands for these. I'm going to mix that through. Now, the recipe calls for these to be grilled. I'm here in the church, and we love our church kitchen, but we don't have a grill pan in here. We don't have a grill right now. So I'm just going to be pan frying these. So you can do whatever you like, whatever you have. Don't let that stop you from making these burgers. All right, so I've got those mixed pretty well. Get a little platter here to put these on. And I'm just going to start forming these. Now, of course, I don't want them very big because they're going to need to fit on a small bun, but I'm just going to, about that size. I'll put a little hole in the middle so it won't, it'll stay flat when I cook it. I probably can get, I'm going to guess about 8 or 9 out of this pound of meat with all these add-ins. And depending on the size of the buns you're using, you could go a little smaller or a little bigger. It's really great that they have these slider buns available now. Something you could use would be the Hawaiian sweet rolls. That's a good size. And it actually would have a little bit of the sweetness that we use in the, similar to the pan dulce bread that we made earlier. Okay, so I'm going to continue to make these, and then I'm going to saute these up in a pan, and I will show you how to dress these when we're done. Alright, so here are the slider burgers. They were sauteed in a pan, probably about 3 minutes per side. They're smelling pretty good and they're looking pretty good, and actually, confession, my husband tried one of these and he said he really liked the texture of the celery, and the tomato in there was a little bit different. So let's go ahead and build these sliders, and I'm going to show you what's going to be on this. A lot of stuff. We take the bottom layer, and what this is refried black beans. You can find these readily at the grocery store. The bottom bun, we're putting just a thin layer of that on the bottom. And then on that we're going to add, let's add some of this queso fresco cheese. Remember that earlier with the tostadas? We have that again. And then let's go ahead and put a patty on there. So you see that fits just about right. This is going to be a big slider though. And that spicy ketchup that we use. Let's go ahead and put some of that on there. Top of the burger. Let's put, how about a piece of lettuce? This is a butter lettuce, but you can use whatever you like. Even iceberg is fine. And then let's go with a tomato. This was a small vine ripe tomato. And now you can have your choice of onion if you like. I'm going to put the Vidalia. There's red onions there that are just fine and delicious as well. And then for the top bun, remember that guacamole we made? You want to make extra because that's the top layer of this burger or slider. So a layer of the guacamole, and that's going to be delicious. And you know, before I put the top down, I'm going to put a little sprinkle of cilantro leaves on there because I like that. So there you go. You'll get 8 or 9 sliders out of 1 pound of that meat. I'm going to continue making these, and then I'm going to show you the results of all the food we've done today. Here are the finished appetizers for the gala. The first one is a tostada with 2 kinds of toppings. One is a guacamole simply dressed with lime juice, and it's topped with some cheese, some onions, and then parsley. The second one is topped with a black bean puree that was cooked with tomatoes and red peppers and then emulsified into a puree. And it's also topped with cheese and onions and parsley. Then we move to the sliders. You're using that guacamole again, but that's okay. They're really great on these sliders. So this is a beef slider. It's got a spicy ketchup on it, black beans, guacamole, cheese, and then dressed with whatever you like, tomatoes and lettuce in this case. We have a ceviche, a seafood ceviche, and I really encourage you to try this one. It's got scallops and shrimp that have been lightly poached, and then it's got a lime orange sauce to it. It's pretty spicy, but don't shy away from that. You can serve it individually, as I have here, or in a bowl. Everybody can help themselves in this case. And then lastly, we have the fruit skewers, seasonal fruits and some veggies, and topped with some pumpkin seeds that have been ground and some chili powder. I paired those with some small coconut cookies. Butter cookies would be great as well. Make a little nice dessert for you. So I hope you enjoy these appetizers and try them. Welcome to the gala. I hope if you're not attending, please make these at home, and if you're attending, welcome.